Well, in the wake of the Virginia Tech shootings, there's been a lot of emphasis on security in schools. Joining us now to talk more about this is Richard Weinblatt. Richard, you're actually with the Police Academy at Seminole Community College, and you're also a former police chief, so you're soaking in this stuff all the time. Tell me, how are Central Florida schools doing with this?
They're doing as well as can be expected. I mean, all of our hearts, everybody, law enforcement and non-law enforcement alike, our hearts go out to the families and the people affected by the tragedy there at Virginia Tech. It was a horrible thing, and I really don't know that they could have foreseen or done too much differently, but we're going to have to wait to see how that investigation pans out and that task force panel.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about what you've got your finger on the pulse of what a lot of the organizations here in Central Florida are doing, because you teach them how to do these things, these tactical moves and whatnot. What have you heard about Central Florida schools doing proactively to stop from something like this happening again?
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't want to get into specific tactics because that would put the students and their families and the police officers and deputy sheriffs in jeopardy. But in general, they're being much more alert, obviously. And a lot of the information comes from people such as yourself and the viewers of Central Florida News 13. If you see something that's suspicious, let the police officers, the deputy sheriffs that are in the schools, the school resource officers, etc., let them know what's going on so they can respond. And they're being much more vigilant, much more open to comments and concerns that people are bringing forth to them in light of all this.
Richard, let's talk about this. Police response, those two words, police response. What do you say to some folks who say, hey, go ahead and bust in there and just take this person out, or others who say, just kind of observe the situation and wait to see if there's a peaceful ending and the person who's trying to be the perpetrator in all this will come out peacefully?
Well, it used to be before Columbine, and that's what happened in Columbine. Officers would wait for SWAT, and unfortunately learned a lesson in Columbine in law enforcement that a lot of bad things can happen in a short amount of time. And what happened at Virginia Tech was the way it's supposed to happen, and what we train here in Central Florida to do, as well as around the country, is active shooter training, to move in fast and eliminate the threat as quick as possible. That's what they tried to do in Virginia Tech, apparently. The doors were chained shut. They had to go around to a second set of doors, and by that time, it was too late, but they did the right thing. In principle, it appears, not to see what happens with it, but it appears in principle they did, and that's what we do here in Central Florida. We move in fast. We don't wait because we know people need our help, and that's what we're here for.
All right, Richard, thank you very much. I think all of us are kind of still in shock that, folks who are trying to learn and these types of things happen. Thank you so much for your insight. Richard Weinblatt, Police Academy with the Seminole Community College, and also former police chief. Thanks for joining us.